Okay, so let's unpack something truly surprising today. We all know the main headlines. Mark Carney's Liberals, they're projected to form the government in 2025.
Right. That's the official story.
But, beneath that official result, there was actually another election happening right alongside it across the country. And the outcome, well, it's a real head-turner.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is this Student Vote Canada 2025. It's an initiative run by Civics. They're all about civic education, getting kids involved.
Over 900,000 students, right?
Yeah.
Elementary, middle, high school.
Exactly, over 900,000. And they went through the whole process learning about the party platforms, debating candidates, the works.
And then casting actual ballots.
They did. And this is where it gets really interesting, like you said.
Because if we were just looking at their votes, if these students were deciding things.
We'd be looking at a conservative minority government, not liberal.
A conservative minority. How many seats did they project?
The student vote gave the conservatives 165 seats. That was 36.4% of the popular vote among students.
Okay, 165 seats. Now, contrast that with the actual projections we're seeing.
Right. The real projections are liberals with 168 seats and 43.5% of the popular vote.
So, liberals forming government and the conservatives.
Official opposition in the real projection. 144 seats and 41.4% of the vote. Still strong, but second place.
Quite a different picture indeed. So the big question we're going to dive deep into today is, well, what can we learn from comparing these two results? What do these student votes tell us?
Well, the first thing is just how different the national picture looks. You mentioned the conservative minority in the student vote. 165 seats.
So in that scenario, the liberals were the opposition, 145 seats, 31.7% of the student vote.
Okay. And the other parties.
The Bloc Québécois, they got 18 seats from the students, but interestingly, only 2.1% of the national student popular vote.
Only 2.1%.
Yeah. And the NDP, they got 13 seats, but look at this, 14.5% of the student popular vote. Quite significant support there.
Okay, 14.5% for the NDP. And the Greens, 2 seats for the Greens, with 7.5% of the student popular vote. Again, pretty high popular vote share compared to their seat count.
Right. Now, let's put that right next to the real projections again. Liberals leading 168 seats.
Conservatives opposition 144 seats.
But then the Bloc, in the real world, projected stronger, right? 23 seats and 6.4% of the actual national vote.
Exactly. A much bigger slice than the students gave them nationally. And look at the NDP and Greens in the real projections.
Oof. Yeah, the NDP down to just 7 seats projected, only 6.3% support. That's less than half the student support percentage.
It really is. And the Greens, just 1 seat projected nationally, 1.2% of the vote.
So a really stark contrast there, especially for the NDP and the Greens. Much, much stronger showing among students.
Absolutely. And you have to wonder, what does that suggest? Are younger Canadians prioritizing different things, different concerns maybe, than the wider electorate?
It certainly points that way. Let's zoom in a bit, though, look at some specific writings, because there's some really interesting stories there, too. Take Pierre Poilievre's writing, Carlton. What happened there in the student vote?
Well, this is fascinating. The students in Carleton actually voted for Poilievre. They gave him the win.
They did. But the real projections?
The real projections suggest he's actually going to lose his seat.
Wow. That's a major disconnect, isn't it? Right, in the leader's writing.
It really is. But then you see alignment elsewhere. Some results matched up.
Like where?
Well, Nepean, for example. Mark Carney is projected to win there in the real election, and the students in Nepean voted for him too.
Okay, so agreement there.
Same in Beloeil-Chambly. He's Francois Blanchet projected to win. Students voted for him too.
Got it.
And on the losing side, Jonathan Pedniel in Outram projected to lose, and the students didn't vote for him either.
And Elizabeth May?
Saanich Gulf Islands. Projected winner, and the students there agreed, voted for May.
So some spots match, others are wildly different. It kind of highlights how complex voting is. Maybe local factors play a big role sometimes.
Could be local dynamics, could be candidate name recognition, things that may be cut across age groups in those specific places.
And what about Jagmeet Singh, Burnaby South?
Yeah, that's another point of, well, grim alignment perhaps. He's projected to lose his seat in Burnaby South in the real election.
And the students?
Same result. The students in Burnaby South didn't vote for him either.
So consistent across both electorates there.
And in the real-world context, that loss, combined with the NDP's overall projected seat count, well, the source material we looked at suggests this could mean the NDP loses official party status.
Right. That's a huge blow and potentially leading to Singh resigning as leader.
That's the speculation based on the projections, yeah. Now, obviously, the student vote doesn't predict resignations, but the fact that they also voted him out of his seat is, well, it's notable.
Definitely. Okay, so we've compared 2025 student results to 2025 real projections. But to get a sort of deeper read, we need to look back, right? How does this compare to how students voted last time?
Excellent point. Let's rewind to the 2021 student vote Canada. The picture was quite different back then.
How so? Who won the student vote in 2021?
In 2021, the students actually gave the Liberals the win.
Hmm.
117 seats with 24% of the student popular vote.
Okay, Liberals won last time with students. Who was second?
The NDP, very close. Second in seats, 107 seats. But here's the kicker. They actually led in the popular vote among students in 2021 with 29%.
Wow, 29%, leading the popular vote. That's huge compared to this year.
Massive difference. And the Conservatives in 2021, they were third among students, 91 seats, 25% of the vote.
So just behind the NDP in popular vote, but fewer seats.
Right. And a Bloc got 20 student seats back then. Greens got 3.
Okay, so comparing 2021 student results to 2025 student results, that's a really significant shift we're seeing.
Huge shift. The surge for the Conservatives among students this year, going from third place to first place minority.
Yeah, from 91 seats to 165.
And at the same time, you see this considerable drop for both the Liberals, who lost their first place spot, and especially the NDP.
Especially the NDP, going from leading the popular vote at 29% in 2021.
Down to just 14.5% in 2025. That's almost halved.
That is dramatic. Really dramatic. So what's going on there? What could be driving that kind of change in political feeling among students in just, 4 years?
That's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder about the factors influencing younger voters.
Exactly. And this brings us to the implications, for you listening, trying to make sense of the political currents. What might these differences between students and the general election and between students now and students then suggest?
Well, it suggests priorities might be shifting among younger people, or maybe how they view the parties fulfilling those priorities.
Are the issues different, or is it the parties' approaches?
It could be both. Again, we're just observing the data here, not taking sides. But the student vote potentially offers this window into future political trends.
Like a glimpse ahead.
Perhaps. It allows us to consider what's resonating, or maybe what's not resonating anymore, with this demographic. Are there specific policies? Broader societal vibes? It's hard to say for sure from just this data, but it raises the questions.
These discrepancies really give you food for thought, don't they? Like, why did students in this simulation swing so heavily towards the Conservatives compared to the actual electorate?
And why that big drop in NDP support, specifically among students since 2021? Was it policy, leadership perception, something else entirely?
And thinking ahead, how might these, evolving preferences shape actual elections down the road as these students become eligible voters?
It connects to the bigger picture, definitely.
Yeah.
This comparison, student vote versus real projection, it's more than just trivia. It's a unique lens.
Oh, way to maybe see potential future shifts, the changing perspectives of young Canadians engaging with democracy.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's a snapshot, one data point, but a fascinating one.
So let's try and bring it all together then. The 2025 Canadian election is projected to go one way, Liberal government led by Mark Carney.
But the massive Student Vote Canada project, running in parallel, produced a totally different result, a Conservative minority.
A really striking divergence. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you to ponder. Considering all these differences we've talked about, what single aspect of those student vote results do you find the most surprising or maybe the most significant?
And what broader implications might that specific finding hold for the future path of Canadian politics? Something to think about.